Do you know how to make this work? Okay, Hare Krishna. So before we'll chant a few mantras, we'll try to keep it short. Jarada Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachariya Yamuna Tira Vanachariya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivraja Kacharya Ashtatarashata Shishimat His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Grantara Srimad Bhagavad-gita Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. It's a bit strange today. I don't know. This Veda base is a bit strange today, but anyway. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Welcome. Welcome. So we read every evening or some evenings from Bhagavad-gita. This is the basic text for spiritual life, but not so basic. It's important to know what we're doing. Krishna says in a few places that if you do something, it's good, and if you do it in knowledge, it's even better. So, and he says also there's a few people who are approaching him, but the one who is in knowledge is better. So he's happier if you actually know what we're doing. So we try to study Bhagavad-gita. Bhagavad-gita is the words of Shri Krishna, who is supposed to be God. At least Srila Prabhupada says in the introduction that we should approach Bhagavad-gita, at least theoretically, think that Krishna might be God. that you have to accept that Krishna is God, at least theoretically, and then you try to make sense of Bhagavad-gita. And there's one opulence which Krishna shows in Bhagavad-gita, which means that he has all knowledge. So sometimes people say that there were some people who said that this Hare Krishna philosophy is so good that only the devil could have made it. Anyway, what Okay. So, and it's also good to read the original text. Sometimes in many spiritual traditions, there's a question, what did he actually say? I'm following Buddha. Okay, what did Buddha actually say? I'm following Lord Jesus Christ. What did he actually say? What is his instructions? So here we have the original instruction of Krishna to Arjuna. So it's good to see what did he say? What did he actually say? Okay, so this 6th chapter, it's called Dhyana Yoga. We'll come back a bit to this, and we read today text 17, which sounds like this. If you speak Sanskrit, then you will understand. If not, there's also another translation. Yuktahara viharasya. Oh wait, it's somewhere there. Today, if you see it, it's even better. Today this is a bit strange, so let's try to. Oh. Yeah, I don't know. It's probably something with the anyway. Yukta cheshtasya karmasu. Yukta svapnava bodhasya. Yogo bhavati dukkha. Yuktahara viharasya. Yukta cheshtasya karmasu. Yukta svapnava bodhasya. Yogo bhavati dukkha. Okay. Yuktahara viharasya. Cheshtasya karmasu. Yukta svabhava bodhasya. Yogo bhavati dukkha. Okay, Matajis. Yuktahara viharasya. Yukta cheshtasya karmasu. Yukta svabnava bodhasya. Yogo bhavati dukkha. Okay. We also have translation of every word. Yukta, regulated. Ahara, eating. Viharasya, recreation. Yukta, regulated. Cheshtasya, of one who works for maintenance. Karmasu, in discharging duties. Yukta, regulated. Swapna, bodhasya, avabodha. Sleep and wakefulness. Yoga, practice of yoga. Bhavati, becomes. Dukkha, diminishing pains. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. He who is regulated in his habits of eating, sleeping, recreation and work can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Extravagance in the matter of eating, sleeping, defending and mating, which are demands of the body, can block advancement in the practice of yoga. As far as eating is concerned, it can be regulated only when one is practiced to take and accept prasadam, sanctified food. Lord Krishna is offered, according to the Bhagavad-gita 9.26, vegetables, flowers, fruits, grains, milk, etc. In this way, a person in Krishna consciousness becomes automatically trained not to accept food not meant for human consumption or not in the category of goodness. As far as sleeping is concerned, a Krishna conscious person is always alert in the discharge of duties in Krishna consciousness, and therefore any unnecessary time spent sleeping is considered a great loss. Avyarta kalatvam. A Krishna conscious person cannot bear to pass a minute of his life without being engaged in the service of the Lord. Therefore, his sleeping is kept to a minimum. His ideal in this respect is Srila Rupa Goswami, who was always engaged in the service of Krishna and who could not sleep more than 2 hours a day. And sometimes not even that. Thakura Haridasa would not even accept prasadam nor even sleep for a moment without finishing his daily routine of chanting with his beads. 300,000 names. I was just trying to synchronize. As far as work is concerned, a Krishna conscious person does not do anything which is not connected with Krishna's interest, and thus his work is always regulated and is untainted by sense gratification. Since there is no question of sense gratification, there is no material leisure for a person in Krishna consciousness. And because he is regulated in all his work, speech, sleep, wakefulness, and all other bodily activities, there is no material misery for him. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Shimate Praladananda Swamiti Nami. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Shimate Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namine. Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nivishesha Shnevadi Pashita Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So chapter 6 of Bhagavad-gita is talking about yoga as we usually conceive yoga in the West. People in the West, maybe you can translate for Sevaji. Okay, so it's the usual system that we think of when people in the West think of yoga. They think of Ashtanga yoga, and but this is so. This chapter 6 is about this type of yoga, Ashtanga yoga, but this is only one chapter in the Bhagavad-gita. So this is not the only yoga. People in the West think this is yoga and that's it, you know. And before this, Krishna spoke about different types of yoga. Spoke about karma yoga, action, the yoga of action. You know, you don't go to the forest, you do something. Jnana yoga, the yoga of knowledge. You try to understand how things are working. And then he talked about karma yoga, action in Krishna consciousness, which is a combination of karma and jnana. And then in the next chapter after this, he talks about what is called bhakti yoga, which actually includes everything. Includes action, includes knowledge, and it includes also meditation, which is actually the purpose of yoga. So, in this chapter, Krishna is speaking a bit about what is called dhyana yoga, yoga of meditation. in the West, people, even when they talk about this Ashtanga yoga, they think it's more or less physical exercise. You do some fitness. You usually have some ladies. Nothing wrong with ladies. Yoga means some ladies in some pants, and then they're very flexible, and that's it. That's the understanding we have in the West about yoga. But that's actually, even if you think of this system which is called Ashtanga yoga, that's very little, very, very little of what actually is that. For example, in this one of the references for this Ashtanga yoga is Yoga Sutra of Patanjali Muni. So Patanjali Muni was a sage, and he was trying to define this system. And according to Patanjali Muni, he writes very little about the physical posture. He says, what does he say about physical postures? You have to sit comfortably. Asana means that you sit comfortably. That's it. That's all he says. Because this system is meant that you meditate. And you meditate, you don't meditate for 10 minutes like they meditate now in the yoga studios. You meditate for quite some time. And if every 5 minutes you're like us, Maharaj is always joking about how we stay during class, because every 5 minutes you have to move, that this hurts. I know for myself, this hurts, and then I cannot sit like that, and then I cannot sit like this, and then I have to move a bit like that. And, this hurts, and, not very comfortable. I was, as a side dish, we were in Bhaktivedanta Manor, and we had this brahmachari retreat. And we had like classes every day, 5-6 hours, It was Bhagavatam class, and we had 2 or 3 seminars every day. And it was total like 6 hours per day. And I was, like my back was like, I didn't know how to sit anymore. I was like, come on, guys. And it was nice. They were nice and inspiring devotees and spiritual masters were saying, but I was like, come on, I cannot sit like this anymore. So the point of Patanjali Muni is that you have to sit somehow because you'll have to meditate, And that's the whole point of it's not, and the whole asana, the whole system is just, initially he didn't say much, and everything else, as Maharaj explained, it developed more or less after all the asanas, which are good, It's good, probably they might help you to sit properly for some time, but it should be understood that it's not so important for the yoga system how you sit and how much flexibility you have, and if you can put your foot behind your neck, Nowadays people spend so much energy on it. Okay, I put my foot behind the neck. Okay, good. So what? And so this is more or less, if you go to yoga studio, that's what they do. They do a lot of asanas. Okay, and sometimes they do what is called pranayama, breathing exercises, they call. Okay, it's balancing the prana, which is okay, it's important. But what is usually overlooked and what is more or less discussed here by Krishna, Krishna and Arjuna, they have very little time, so they don't discuss all the details of the Ashtanga yoga. And it's also assumed that Arjuna, because he was raised in the Vedic culture, of course he was trained as a kshatriya, as a warrior, but he knows some things, So he's more or less, Krishna is just saying a few important things. And then he says the rest, okay. You'll figure it out later. So he just gives a few details, and so Krishna speaks here about eating, So if you go to a yoga studio, will they teach you about eating? Is it important? What you eat, what you don't eat, how much you sleep, and the basic principle of that, Patanjali Muni explains in Yoga Sutra, is that you have, it's more or less like you have a boat, and you have a river. Boat, yeah. And you have the left part of the river, and you have the right part of the river. And you want to go to the left part, and you start rowing, and start rowing, and start rowing, and start rowing for 10 minutes a day. You go to the yoga studio, and you start rowing, you do meditation, 10 minutes, And then the rest of the time, you row back. You turn the boat around, and you go towards the right part of the river. 23 hours and 50 minutes per day. So then how long will it take you to get to the left part of the river? It will take you some time, no? It's like you put you want to put a fire, you make a fire, you put some wood, and then you take a bucket of water and you throw it on the fire. And then you start again putting the fire. It's not gonna work. So that's the whole idea of these things that Krishna is talking about. That yoga is a full-time job. It's a 24/7. You cannot say, okay, in the morning I do my yoga practice for this amount of time, and the rest of the time I can do whatever I want. No, this it doesn't work like that. You have to be 24 hours a day. You have to be in that mentality, because you cannot make progress and then you cover your progress with doing all sorts of strange things. So actually, Patanjali Muni, before talking about asana, he's not even getting there. He says, first thing is yama and niyama. You have to have a lifestyle which is conducive to yoga practice. You have to change your lifestyle. If you really want to be a yogi, you have to change your lifestyle. Of course, how to apply in Bhakti Yoga, that's different. But that's the concept, that yoga is a lifestyle. So I'll just... So he talks about yama, restraints, what you shouldn't do. How you shouldn't put water on the fire. So, okay, you do yoga, you want to elevate yourself, and then don't do these kind of things. Because these things will, try to get up and then you go down. You go to the wrong side of the river. So, and then he also talks about niyama, things that are recommended to do. How to live your life in such a way that is useful for growing spiritually. So I'll just go a bit through them. It talks about restraints. First, ahimsa, non-violence. The whole point of we'll get to that later, but the whole point of spiritual life is that you want to connect with God eventually, with the Supreme. Yoga means it's the same root as the Western world religion, reconnect. So you want to connect with God. And you want to connect with God, then you have to understand that every soul is also trying to connect with God. And you cannot be violent to your father and be loving to your violent to your brother and loving to your father. Oh, this Srila Prabhupada gives the example: you go to visit someone, and you have he has a son or something, and you go to him and you say, "Hey, how are you? I'm so happy to see you." And that the son comes and you punch his son. "Hey, get lost." "Okay, but I really love you. How are you?" And then what will he think? He's really nice to me, but not very intelligent. So this is a basic thing in all religions. It's called ahimsa, non-violence. And so Lord Buddha came and was teaching this. Buddha was teaching two things: ahimsa, non-violence. You don't kill any. You become vegetarian, and you sit down and meditate. You don't do stupid things. You sit down and meditate. That's all. In Christianity, you have "thou shalt not kill." Srila Prabhupada, whenever he was talking with Christian priests, he was saying, yes, you're following Jesus Christ, but what about this? "Thou shalt not kill." Well, how about it? I said, no, but and usually if you speak with Christians, they really cannot understand. They're like, yeah, but actually that means they should not murder, and Jesus ate fish and this and that, and even Indians. I met this Indian boys, and they were from Kerala, like all the Indians who come to Slovenia, except Vansh. So I was in Maribor, and they were there, and I said, "Hi, how are you?" And they saw the Bhagavad-gita. I said, "This is our culture." I said, you know Bhagavad-gita?" "Of course I know Bhagavad-gita. I know it better than you." "Okay, very good, amazing." And they were like, there was this kebab shop, I said, "So what? According to Bhagavad-gita, what are you gonna take? What are you gonna eat now?" "Some chicken." I was like, "Okay, thank you, thank you for your wisdom. Goodbye." So the point is that this is the basic of human life. It's not even spiritual. So all the teachers, bona fide teachers, were teaching this ahimsa, non-violence. You don't kill everyone around you, and then you try to be spiritual. And then there's other things, satya, truthfulness. So, you don't speak 10,000 lies, Sometimes Srila Prabhupada said that if you're a businessman, you have to say some things. "From you, sir, I don't take any profit." But generally, you try to be truthful, because this has an effect on your consciousness. Asteya, non-stealing, brahmacharya, very heavy, chastity. As I said many times before, you go for Sankirtan, you see one boy and one girl together, they are in love, and you try to stop him, and he has no brain left. Men, when they are around women, they have no brain. It's just like that. So spiritual cultures, usually they say men are on this side, women are on this side. They don't talk too much. They don't, because men, when they are around women, they have no brain. So it's just practical, They actually did some studies, There's this non-devotee study. They made an IQ test. I told you, huh? They made an IQ test for people, and men only group, and they put them in a room and they gave them the test, and and they made some scores, and then they took the same group of men and they gave him a new test, and the only thing which was different, there was a nice girl in a mini skirt, nice little, normal for nowadays how she was dressed, but not so normal in the Vedic culture. And their IQ scores went down a lot, like 20% or something. This study by non-devotees, it's like, okay, really? So that's why there's this in this culture. In traditional yoga, they don't even allow this idea of a grihasta. You cannot be a grihasta and a yogi, You have to be full brahmacharya, full chastity. In bhakti yoga, because the process is very powerful, it's okay if you're a grihasta. Aparigraha, non-possession, means that more or less you don't think everything belongs to you. It doesn't mean that you don't have a car on your name. So this is more or less restraints, and then some things that we should observe. Like for example, it says saucha, cleanliness. It's good to, even the yogis take a shower, When they wake up in the morning, they take a shower. Santosha, contentment. Tapas, some austerity. Svadhyaya. These last 2 points are very, very interesting because they make it clear what's the point. Svadhyaya means self-study, but in a very specific term, it means study of the Vedas. So a yogi is also supposed to understand very clearly what he's doing. He's studying the Vedas. He's like, okay, I'm meditating, but how should I meditate? What is the purpose of my meditation? So, and the next is even more interesting. It's called Ishvara Pranidhana. It's devotion to the Lord. Because the point is that the whole point of this system is to get to meditation. So it has first step yama, what you don't do, niyama, what is things that are useful for you, and then you do some asana, you sit properly, and then you do some pranayama to regulate your prana. I don't know so much, but I did some pranayamas when I was younger. And then you withdraw your senses from the inside, the outside to the inside, which is which is also related to all this yama and niyama, because if you the whole day you engage your senses, then it's very hard to withdraw it when you sit down in meditation. Now we'll withdraw the senses. The whole day I was trying to engage the senses in what's this, and now we'll withdraw them. In 10 minutes everything, disappears. And then the most interesting is Dharana Dhyana Samadhi, is meditation. And the point is, what is meditation? Nowadays you can, they have meditation classes, mindfulness, and this and that. So many types of meditation, And the point of what they usually do is you sit there and you watch your thoughts and you ignore them. And okay. How much time did it pass? 1 minute already. Oh my God, yes, okay. And you just sit there and fight with the thoughts. But actually, the point of meditation, according to Patanjali Muni also in Yoga Sutra, is that the yogi meditates on the super soul. He meditates on Krishna. Because the whole point of yoga is to not only to disconnect from material world, Because of course the yogi studying the shastra, the scriptures, he understands. Okay, I'm a spirit soul, I'm eternal spirit soul, this material world is temporary, is full of suffering, it's not some place where I will find my happiness, so I have to disconnect from that. And what do? You connect to something superior, to Krishna. Krishna says in Bhagavad-gita, I have a lapsus, 259. Vishaya vinivartate. That's it? Yeah. Vishaya vinivartate niraharasya dehina rasoverjam rasopyasa param drishva nivartate. The embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, though the taste for sense objects remains, but ceasing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness. So what this verse actually says is that you cannot disconnect from the material world without connecting to Krishna. So that's actually what the yogi is doing. The yogi is doing all these steps, and then he's meditating on Krishna. Actually, they are meditating on the expansion of Krishna in the heart, which is called Paramatma. But so in a more strict sense, meditation means meditating on Krishna. It's not they do in Zen Buddhism. They look at a white wall for one day, like, which is nice, but as Ananta Prabhu already said, ampak. But so what? What did you achieve? Because Bhagavad-gita says here, yes, you can try to disconnect from material world. You can try to say this is Maya, this is bad, this is not good, suffering, Prabhu. But what you will do after some time? Because the nature of the soul is to find some happiness. And if you don't find spiritual happiness, you'll find some material happiness. Srila Prabhupada always gives these examples of Mayavadi sannyasis, these impersonalists, who are trying to reject the world. They say, oh, the world is Maya, the world is Maya, the world is Maya. So they do so much, they are so philosophical and so on. And then they get engaged in some Maya. They do some politics, they do some things, because you have to do something, You have to be active, the soul is active, you have to do something in some way. So it doesn't work, you just say, no, this doesn't work, this, no. You have to say yes, And then when you say yes to Krishna, then the Krishna says in that verse that I quoted, that you get higher happiness. You're happy, you're like, and then all these temptations come and you're like, just not interested, Like this morning I ate so much that if you showed me something, some food, I was like, come on. Anyway, I had to, I didn't want to throw the food, so I had to eat everything. I was until here, I was like, so I took lunch at 4 or something because I was like, so the point is that if you're full in Krishna consciousness, then you're happy, you're good, you don't need anything anymore. And then all these restrictions that are so heavy, like if you, the problem of this yoga system, of the traditional yoga system, is that first step is that you do the restrictions, and then you do asana, pranayama, you meditate, and when you meditate after a few years, many years, maybe you'll get some spiritual happiness. Maybe. So it's a very hard process, That's why at the end of this chapter, Arjuna says, Krishna, this process is too difficult. It's not for me. So Arjuna rejects this process. He says, no, this is not for me. Because Arjuna understands, okay, this you have to renounce everything, and what you get, But the Bhakti Yoga system is so nice. The first you get something, Srila Prabhupada says in some some purport somewhere, which I didn't find this purport. I was searching it for a long time, but it's from his purport. He says, we don't ask anyone to give up anything and come to us. We just ask them to come. Just come as you are. And you start chanting Hare Krishna. And you start following the process. And then you will see that this works, And then automatically things start moving. And it'll be like, yeah, this thing, I don't need anymore. So the Bhakti Yoga system is so nice because from day one you get the spiritual happiness. You chant Hare Krishna, you get some spiritual happiness. Or at least when you get prasadam, you get some spiritual happiness. So you just come and chant. And then all the rules and regulations, they come after. You come, you chant, you see the deity is so nice, everything's so nice, everything is... You get some spiritual happiness. And when you have this spiritual happiness, which is a lot higher than any material happiness, then it's very easy to give up things. Then the devotees will tell you, hey, it's good to be vegetarian. Okay, no problem. Okay, what do you eat? Oh, good food. Come for Sunday feast, big plate, good food, sweets, all do. Okay, good, no problem. So that's the difference between Bhakti Yoga system and this Ashtanga Yoga. The Ashtanga Yoga, you do all the austerities, and then maybe you get some happiness, maybe. And in Bhakti Yoga, you just come, because the happiness comes from connecting with Krishna. So if you're connected with Krishna, then you're happy. This is natural for the soul. So the more you're connected with Krishna, then the more you're happy. And yeah, we just you just start, you chant a bit. So general process for in Bhakti Yoga, we don't ask people, hey, you come and from day one you have to follow these 4 regulative principles, for these 4 regulative principles. Okay, you have to follow from tomorrow. And there's also other rules. Okay, you know these rules. Okay, you have to follow this from tomorrow. No. Krishna consciousness is so nice that it tricks you, inside. First you say, oh, can you chant this mantra? Can you read this mantra? Oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Okay, very nice. Okay. Can you read these books? 15 minutes a day. Nothing. And then you do this, and then with time you're like, you get some, oh, this is nice. And then everything comes, Also, it's good to be vegetarian. And by the way, alcohol is also not so good for you. And also, tobacco, not good. And by the way, we don't even take coffee. And so on, and eventually you get to the same point, It's not that we're saying something different from Patanjali Muni. Patanjali Muni says first the rules, and then the taste later. And Bhakti Yoga means first the taste, and then rules. Well, no problem. We'll put them inside. And you get to the same point, It's not that Dhyana Yoga, all these things that Krishna says to Arjuna about Dhyana Yoga, they are not applicable to us. They are, of course they are, applicable. But we just take it from a different angle, And we should get to the same point. So Krishna says the yogi is very attentive to what he eats. So Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, we eat prasadam. We take the food, whatever is there, we offer to Krishna. If we offer it to Krishna, then automatically, he doesn't eat meat, he doesn't eat eggs, not even onions. Okay, if I want to offer it to him, I have to put this out and so on. So you cook nice food and do it. That's it. No, and that's regulation. And he speaks about what, there was something else in the purport. Oh. Very, very interesting point. Srila Prabhupada makes the same point in the purport. He says that a yogi, bhakti yogi, doesn't like to lose time, to waste time. He gives, of course, he gives the extreme example of Srila Rupa Goswami, who would sleep like 2 hours a night, and sometimes he would forget that he has to sleep. So we don't imitate that. But we imitate. What we can take from this is the idea that whatever time we have, we can use in Krishna consciousness. No. Like I was talking with Vansh today, Srila Prabhupada was saying to the devotees, he says, they were discussing something and he said, whenever you have a moment, Hare Krišna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And then they would continue discussing, and then he said again, whenever you have a moment, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So that's the same point. You know, okay, my life is short, and if I don't use some time for spiritual progress, then you'll use it for something else. And usually whenever it's you use it for something else, it's not very intelligent. And it just takes you, So the point is, whenever we all have our duties, but whatever time you have free, you try to put something to Krishna, rest enough. The yogi rests not too little, but not too much, but not too little also. So he doesn't start day one. He said Rupa Goswami is sleeping 2 hours, so I'll sleep 1.5. No, you sleep enough, whatever you need, and then you try to use as much time as you have for Krishna consciousness. So that's what we can learn from that. And the eating, we just eat prasadam. You offer nice food to Krishna, and that's good. Okay, I'll stop here. I wanted to make it shorter, but sorry, I have to speak. So if there's some questions, comments, protests. Good. Thank you for your tolerance. Grantarash Bhagavad-gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.